Hello everyone, welcome back to MixBuzz TV, mixing and mastering tutorials on YouTube. Today a quick video for you, but a very important subject, and that is how to set a proper gain staging inside your DAW before even beginning a mix. This is very important because if your gain staging is not correct, and this is something I see overlooked so many times, especially from beginners, your mix is going to be a battle from the beginning, and you're going to have to fight for every single move that you make to make your mix sound good. Every bit of compression, every move with your EQ. If your gain staging is not correct, each and every one of those moves is going to force you to adjust the gain staging on every track, on every group, every single time, and that is not good. So here I just imported raw tracks for this mix. It's a 40-ish tracks mix, so it's not even that big, okay? And we are talking about just the audio tracks, okay? So 40 audio tracks, not including effect. This is raw, it's not mixed, it's just the tracks have been imported in the session. We have the green ones, which are the drum, red is bass, the purple-ish are guitars, and then we have vocals and background vocals, okay? And here my stems. So just the audio tracks, and we are already about 40 tracks. But take a look at the master bus when I press play. Okay, I'm clipping already. My mix bus is clipping already. So if we take a look at the single tracks, none of them are exceeding 0, okay? So none of them is clipping individually. But when you press play and you sum them in your DAW, obviously the level adds up and the master fader is clipping. So first thing, one question that I get asked so many times, at what level do I have to record my tracks to track them? So the answer to this question would be very, very long. Let's try to summarize. With today's converters, you have no reason to record too hot. Recording at high levels, it was necessary in the age of tape because noise floor was a problem. So at that time, if you recorded your tracks too low, they were too close to the noise floor, which was unavoidable, okay? Today, we don't have the noise floor problems, so you have no benefit in recording your track too hot. And another thing to consider is today's converters don't really sound so good when you push them close to their limit. The dBs they can handle in the analog to digital stage is not always what they tell you in the manual. And even if that's the case, not high-end converters, while they are still good enough to give you perfectly usable tracks, they start to sound bad when you push them close to their clipping level, okay? So not only you have no reason, no benefit to record too hot, but you have potentially problems. Plus, we are working nowadays in 24 bits, so you have all the dynamic range that you need and even more. Keep in mind, every bit is 6 dB of dynamic range approximately. So for 24 bits, you have about 144 dBs of dynamic range. And no converter in the world, in their AD stage, in their analog to digital stage, handles 144 dB. So even the best converter, when pushed hard, probably will not sound as good as if you stay a little more conservative with your tracking level. With that said, don't overthink it. Okay, just record at a level where you are approximately just below the yellow. Okay, whether your metering is your converter or your DAW. But even when you do record your tracks correctly at a conservative level, it happens that when the track count goes up, you end up like this. So when you import your tracks to the project and press play, with nothing on it, no EQ, no compression, no anything, just the raw tracks, you might clip the master fader already. Okay, as you can see here, I have all my faders at 0, a unity. And as we saw before, if I press play, okay, I clip the master fader. So from here, how do you set up a correct gain staging? You need to lower the volume of your tracks, not just to avoid clipping on the master fader, but you should have a lot of headroom on your master fader when you press play and you have your faders all around unity gain, okay? Because this will allow you to add all your EQs and all your effects and all your compression, and without worrying about, clipping the master fader or getting there too hot and having to lower levels here and there not to clip the master bus. And think about this. This is just raw audio tracks. Imagine when you add all the parallel buses, all the parallel compressions, all the effect sends, the overall level will go even higher. So you need a lot of headroom, okay, on your master bus. How do you do this? Okay, you can do gain staging in several different ways. The way I set up my gain staging is to open a channel strip plugin on every channel. Now, in this case, I'm using Waves SSL channel because that's how I've been mixing for years. That's my first in the slot plugin, and that's what I use for my first cuts on the EQ, my first compression that I need, my filters, which I love on the SSLE, and the input level. So let's take the kick, for example. If I take a look at the meter, I can see I'm already in the yellow. So let's say I trim down 10 dB. Okay? So now, since I don't have any EQ, nor compression, nor filters active, I can either copy this one to all the other channels or just lower manually every channel, which I've already did. So we're just gonna unbypass all the channels and see how our master fader looks like. Let's take a look at the difference. Here is the master fader with all the tracks raw. And I'm clipping, okay? So now on each audio track, I opened the SSL plugin, the SSL channel strip, with the input lowered by 10 dB. Okay? So now they are all unbypassed, and take a look at our master fader. Let's clear the clip. Easy as that. Without clipping. Okay? So there's no compression, no EQ, nothing going on. Just the input level is lowered by 10 dB. And like I said before, you don't need to overthink it, especially if you're 100% in the box. You don't need to overthink it. Just make sure that you have a lot of headroom on your master fader so you can add all the EQ and compression and all the aux channels and parallel stuff that you want. Is very important. It's the first thing that you should do before even start mixing, okay? Of course, you don't necessarily need to use the SSL channel for this task. That's just how I do it. I happen to like the SSL channel for the first EQ and compression, and I don't like to waste my first slot of inserts just to lower the input when I can do it with this, which is sub plugin that I'm going to use anyway. But if you don't have this one, you can do it with, for example, another great plugin is Sonaxis 3G, which is just a fader and a trim, so is meant for this. It's free. You can download it from the Sonaxis site. With this one, you would do the same. You would just lower the level by 10 or 6 or 15 dB or whatever, and then copy it for all your channels, okay? and will have the same effect, okay? Or you can do it with Pro Tools trim plugin, which comes with Pro Tools, okay? So this is it. Before starting your mix, make sure that your gain staging is properly set and you have a lot of headroom on your master fader so that you can work without worrying about getting there too hot or clipping your master fader. Before closing the video, a disclaimer. Yes, we're finally working on 32 bits floating point even in Pro Tools since Pro Tool 10, so technically you cannot clip your master fader. You just lower the volume of the master fader and you're good to go. But that is not a good reason not to have a proper gain staging, because some plugins, without going into too complicated details, are calibrated for a certain level, okay, like the hardware units. So especially the new trend plugins like tape machine emulation or console channels emulations and plugins that emulate vintage gear, they are calibrated to receive on their input a certain level, okay? So that alone is a good reason to have your tracks not too hot from the start. Okay, so this is it for today. Make sure your gain staging is properly set before you start the mix. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, as usual, write it in the comment or send us a message and we will get back at you. If you liked the video, please don't forget to click the like button, share and subscribe, and see you guys next time.